I wasn't ignoring everyone. I was preparing for the pandemic. Okay. Maybe I'm lying, maybe I'm not. You won't ever know, will you? So I'm actually gonna do a quarantine review. The best thing about a quarantine is that I get to do all the things that I want, which is focus on Kung Fu and books. So one of the first books that I'm actually going to talk about for my review, as well as watch films, because I never get enough time to actually watch films, even though I do enjoy TV, but I'm trying to spend more time trying to be on the TV. So one of the first books I'm actually going to talk about is I know I'm probably going to put a picture of it because that might be clearer than what I'm holding because of the ring light, but it is called The Hall of Mosses by Nicoline Evans. She's awesome. She's super cool. She's awesome. Did I say that? No, but the book Hall of Mosses is actually quite a fun delight read. It's like a nice little D&D adventure because you're actually following the character Juniper, and Juniper has a bit of some dark history, and we're gonna go over the things I like about this book. First thing I want to talk about in regards to the book, I actually do like the plot. Primarily what the entire plot is about is the fact that, how do I put this? During this time of what's going on, Mother Gaia is tired of our shit. That's basically it, and she's just getting rid of us left and right the best way she seems to know how. Hitting a little too close for home, right? But this is what makes it interesting. The way Mother Gaia is getting rid of us is based on, she actually floods an entire continent. Like, she's low-key pissed. She's seriously pissed with us. And like it gets pretty intense because you're like, Mother Nature wants to do what now? So I think this is the first step before we actually have to live the Hall of Mosses, because as of right now, Mother Nature just sent us all to our rooms to think about what we've done. But however, it starts the story off talking about Juniper. She wants to escape her past, and you actually learn that she's in Washington State, which, by the way, I love Washington State. It is very beautiful. Miss you, Seattle, and any of the other towns that I was in but didn't know the name of because I probably shouldn't have been walking around through them. I was walking the road while I was in Seattle, and I would just leave, and I would end up in places that were heavily densed and wooded, probably with bears, and it was like, this seems like a great, cool way and dangerous thing to do. What's over here? That's probably where the white part of me like kicks in, like, let's just go and explore. I don't know when it kicks in, but it kicks in during that time, and also during the winter when I feel like wearing skirts and shorts. I don't know what happens, but but anyways, so Juniper is in Washington. She's basically working at a bar, and she's, you know, she has her colleagues, she has people who respond to her, kind of her friends, but the truth is she's so in and like reclusive. She's a serious introvert, and it's because of how dense her, or intense rather, how her past is. And the characters in the book are just as curious about Juniper as you are as a reader, which I thought was very interesting to write. So I don't know if Miss Evans intentionally wrote that. Nicoline, if you intentionally wrote that, that is a skill. If you did not intentionally write it that way, it's still a skill. So she's out in Washington, and she's enjoying camping. She loves, you know, getting on her motorcycle bike. You know, she loves the kids on their dirt bike. She finds a way to have inner peace. She gets away from the chaos that she left behind. Unfortunately, she has to go back because someone passes away, her uncle, and she has to return home for the first time after so long. And her love interest and her other closest friend, which is actually a sheriff, they are trying to figure out why she's a little upset, why is she freaking out about going home. And during this time that she's dealing with the emotions of her uncle passing and then having to return home, which is actually Bronx, New York. And anyone who's from Bronx, New York, y'all know how chaotic things can be and how badly you'd want to leave that area. Don't lie. So, what ends up happening is she is going camping before she heads out there. And she starts to think for a minute. You never had like one of those crazy moments where you're like, did I just hear what I thought I heard? And she thinks she heard the trees talking to her. Like how I hear the motorcycles passing by, but whatevs. So rude, I'm recording. You think I should have yelled at him? He would have heard me, totally would have heard me. But what ends up happening is she thinks that the trees are talking to her, and at first it freaks her out because she's like, whew, did I have pot? Like, what happened? What is going on? Maybe, am I hallucinating? Which is an instinctive, you know, reaction, because if I was sitting next to a tree and I thought the plant was talking to me, I probably would just nickname myself Pamela. And like, my new name is Bam. For DC fans, you guys get that. But she's kind of like not really understanding it, but she's still dealing with the emotions of having to go home. So she kind of just pushes it to the back of her head, even though Mother Gaia is being like very patient with her. And Mother Gaia is trying to explain to her, I choose you, Captain Planet. He's a let me stop. I don't know what happened. I'm normally this hyper. I'm kidding. That's a complete lie. I'm only hyper whenever I feel like it in bursts of minutes, and this would be one of those minutes. So she ends up actually going back home to the Boogie Down Bronx. She goes back to the Bronx. The funeral is there, and she arrives there, and she's gotta deal with the family. So she has family members who are angry and upset with her. They're like, you abandoned us. You went to go be happy. That's basically what they're saying underneath it all. And I found, like, I was just like, so that's a bad thing that Juniper was like, you know, I'm not really happy here and there's a lot of horrible things happening to me. I think I need a fresh start. I want to be able to think and feel free and be happy and be like in the woods and stuff and be one with nature. So she just, you know, escapes from everything. And not everyone is supportive of this. Unfortunately, before she left, her best friend actually commits suicide because she said that, you know, if you leave here, I'm gonna kill myself. She has an abusive boyfriend. Her boyfriend is Damien. I probably shouldn't have said it that way, but yeah, he's a jerk. I'm really happy what happens to him in the book, but anyways, he's there. She's got her friend Roscoe, who's basically in the beginning you could tell he's a love interest, but he's not aggressive. He understands the word no. He's respectful like that. I like Roscoe. And so Roscoe doesn't try to force Juniper to like open up about her life, to talk about her past. He doesn't try to force her into a relationship. Love you, Roscoe. He's like the equivalent of what I think every male should be, especially the ones that are around me. Doesn't try to push her, and he understands she wants her space. That's it. So when he finally gets the chance to see what is in her past and how she's greeted by certain family members, because some of her family members don't even care that she returned. They're just like, you have a lot of nerve showing up here. Yeah, like you didn't even care about him. You just like left the state to go be happy and stuff. What do you care, huh? What's up? Like super Bronx like, right? So they're being obnoxious and rambunctious, and she is hurt because she misses her uncle. Now, this is the same uncle that you end up finding out he told her to go. He told her, this place is killing you. Go. He gave her some money, told her, go pick somewhere to go. She chose to go to Washington State. He supported her to go so she can be happy. Everyone else is just mad. So she has one cousin that she was like close with, but he's like stuck on drugs. There's a lot of like dark crap. Her ex-boyfriend tries to frame her for something that he did that technically he should be in jail for. Like, it is super dark. So Roscoe doesn't know what he's walking himself into. He's like, wow, so you've come out of hell. That's why you don't talk. And so that's basically what ends up happening. And she goes back to Washington with Roscoe, and her cousin, she tries to get to come with her, the one that she's close with. And at first he's hesitant, but then finally, he shows up in Washington. And unfortunately, things go very south because he ends up giving the information to the ex-boyfriend, who she was very specific about, going, hey, I don't think Damien should have my information. He just can't be trusted, you know? Oh my god, I look like, what's her name from, it's one of those cartoons where her hair's curly and it comes out like a triangle. I just need glasses. Oh, from Recess, the teacher. That's exactly what I look like right now, but really I don't care. I hope you're enjoying it. So Damien is over there. She's now dealing with the panic attacks, the stress of having to feel guarded 24/7. Roscoe's trying to step in, but at the same time, Roscoe's really not her official boyfriend, so he's stepping in as a good friend. He's also doing the male peacock thing, so this way she doesn't have to feel as stressed. And that was one of the things that I did kind of enjoy about watching Roscoe's character, you know, especially because he's so respectful of female spaces, as in when they're not ready for relationships or if they say no. So Roscoe, I need a Roscoe, that's what I need. But what ends up happening is you get to know Juniper the same way Roscoe is getting to know her. And I thought that was really cool in regards to the character development, because you have to learn of her past. And once you learn of her past and you see how dark it is, unless you're from the Bronx and you're like, yeah, that's a Monday for us New Yorkers. So regardless of all that, now you see how she's trying to separate herself from this. But then again, at the same time, every time she goes camping, the trees are like, hola, mami. Mother Gaia has some things to say to you. Can you come? Bang, bang, bang. Like, you know, it's very much like that. I guess I just switched between two languages. I don't care. So, that's what she's dealing with. She's dealing with her past, combined with the present that she wanted to keep so safe, so separate from that darkness, because she just simply wants to escape it. And then Mother Nature's like in her ear. So she's starting to think she's bugging out. So what ends up happening through these conversations with Mother Nature while she's out camping, Mother Nature saves her behind from some danger. Don't want to tell you what that's about, because I want you to read the book. But Mother Nature saves her life. She's now trying to, like, you know, process it, because the trees did some things that I wish trees would do for me when people are bothering me, but you know, whatevs. So, so what ends up happening is she's now is a little bit more open-minded about talking to Mother Nature, like, hey, I know I was like scared of you, but that thing you did, I mean, like, thanks. You're not gonna kill me, right? So as she continues on her journey, Mother Nature is trying to explain to her, so in layman's terms, I picked you as my champion. You're going to be the champion of this in particular, because I have a couple of champions. And she's like, champions? What other champions do you have? And there's one like of water, of earth, of fire, of air. Basically, it's like the Avatar, but on a different level cool. Nothing compares to the Avatar. And if you watch that movie, that is shameful. Shameful if you like the Avatar movie. Sorry, just, I saw it the other night ago and I almost cried because it hurt me. It really hurt me. But anyway, so there's different champions that Mother Gaia has chosen for different elements. And she just, you know, kindly explains to her, I want you to be my champion because I'm going to kill everyone. So you can pick and choose who you want to save. So, you know, I'll let you pick some. See if they're good. I trust you to pick out a good one. And she's just freaking out because she's dealing with this heavy past. And now she's sort of like being told, hey, I'm going to kill everyone, but you can pick out your faves. And that's a hard thing to process. I don't know if it'd be that hard for me. I'm kidding. But she's dealing with that and she doesn't know how to process that because she has one major problem. How do you tell people something horrible is about to happen and nobody listens to you? I mean, there was a Chinese doctor out in China who was trying to warn everyone like that there's symptoms similar to SARS but far much more dangerous and far much more contagious, and no one believed him. They shut him up real quick and look what we're sitting at. So I can only imagine how Juniper's like, hey guys. So I was talking to the trees in Fern Gully recently and they were talking about how Mother Nature might let another continent. Like, what? Yeah, she might flood an entire continent and kill everyone. She's probably gonna kill everyone in about like 7 or 8 days, roughly, if I had to guess. What do you guys think? You guys want to hang out with me? Because she said I was the champion. Do you want to like hang at my cabin? Because it's the safest place to be. Otherwise, she's gonna kill you. So, that's a hard place for her to be in. So now she's got to convince her love interest, Roscoe. Which again, I love Roscoe because he finally gets her to open up to him and he starts seeing the crazy in her and he's like, I'm still gonna stick around. And I'm like, oh, I like you. So Roscoe is trying to believe her, but he's like, babe, like, I get what you're saying and it's not that I think you're lying. I just want to know, how do you know that this for a fact is even true? I'm just like, I'm not saying you're lying and I'm not calling you delusional. I just want to know, like, how do we know it's true? Which is like the safest way to be like, babe, I think you're crazy, but I'm still gonna stay here. And I'm like, oh, Roscoe, And so this is why I can't date anyone, because all the characters I'm actually in love with are all in books. This is like, Mom, just so you know, when you're like, I have any grandkids, I'll write you one, because that's the only way it's ever gonna happen. So she tells him about a prediction on what's gonna happen to this particular continent, and it happens. And he's just like, what? And she goes, and the next one that's gonna happen is this. So he starts seeing it happen across the world. So now he's like, babe, I'm on point. How do we warn people? We gotta protect people. How do we do this? He is freaking out as much as she is. And she's kind of like, I don't know, I tried telling people, but nobody wants to listen. And then both of them sort of realize, it does sound a little crazy. Because if you told anyone last year, 2020 was gonna be anything like this, like I sense that we are all gonna be quarantined, please stock up on your canned foods, start planting so you can start to harvest your garlic and your onions for 90 to 120 days. Begin your planting now. Nobody would have done it. They'd be like, yeah, okay. So I can only imagine how difficult it is for Juniper to talk about these things. And she ends up, of course, the world starts being killed up by one, because after Mother Nature sends us to our room, she's still pissed off with us. So she learns about the other champions. So she starts to be able to communicate with the other champions telepathically, which is super cool. So it's like all the avatars and all the like fighters of the elements are like, oh, I'm here. You know, Toph comes out of nowhere and she can connect with everyone, speaking through their mind. I don't know why I keep putting that in there. I'm just hyper. That movie really affected me. Like, I cried. I don't think I've ever cried because I watched a movie because it was that bad. Like, that's traumatizing. That is straight up trauma. That's like developing PTSD afterwards for like no reason. But anyway, so Juniper is learning to communicate with the other champions, and each champion kind of has their, I guess, significant other that they pick to procreate the earth, because yeah, everyone else is going to be dead, because she's tired of our crap. So Hall of Monsters is just following her on that journey and kind of watching what happens to the world after we've all been sent to our rooms, because I still think Mother Nature is pissed with us. But that's basically what the journey you're following on, and it has this very science fantasy, science fiction, a dab of D&D like. And I say D&D like because whether you play D&D, Vampire the game, whether you're playing any other like RPG or MMORPG, like if you're like a Final Fantasy kid like me. Now, I say D&D like because if you're any of those people in that realm, you start to pick out who the white mage is, black mage, I don't care if you want to call them cleric, if you want to call the white mage that, don't really care, scholar, sorceress, like, you know, you pick up the job, like that's the monk, that's the paladin. You can pick out everyone's job as well as the thief. You're like, ah, I see it, the full party's here. So guys, we're going on an adventure. So that's why I say it's D&D like, because as you're reading the book, you're like, okay, I see who you are. I think Roscoe's the paladin. Just because of all his patience and he can take a hit. And so I think it's a very interesting book, and I think it's pretty well written. I have to say that when I read the book, I was fully engaged into it. So I didn't put it down when I wasn't like, alright, chapter 1. Alright, let's just see how that. That's not what was going on. While I was reading the book, I was actually fully engaged, and I didn't realize when I was supposed to be in bed what time it was, and then I would have to force myself to put the book down, but the book would be like in my pillow, which is like the worst thing to do for like, you know, for like bookworms, because this is what will happen. I'm going right to sleep. Right to sleep. Oh no, they didn't! Anyone who loves reading books knows exactly what I'm talking about, like, because you pretend you're gonna go to bed. You're like, I'm just gonna lay on the side. And then it gets good and you're like, you gonna take that, Bethany? Like, and you just get like emotionally involved. So I gotta give it to Nicoline for making the book very engaging. And I wanted to get to know Juniper more than Roscoe, and Roscoe's in love with her, and I'm like, well, what the Roscoe, listen, if you're single, boo, I don't mind. Like, I'll come join you in the mountains. I'm totally cool about that. But Juniper, babe, what? Come on, you want a hug? I'm from the Bronx. Come here, come on. Bring it in. So I do think the book is a lot of fun, and I definitely recommend it as a good read. There is a book too that I did not get the chance to read yet, which is The Field of Ashes. Nicoline actually has a couple of other books. She has the gray spots, purple spots, and blue spots, and those are children's books to deal with like depression, fear, anxiety, how to accept people for as they are. Like, you don't really need to change anything. That's just who they are. As long as they're not harming you or intentionally trying to cause you problems or being selfish. I think those are the main things that I think when it comes to being involved with people, those are the most important characteristics. Bad intentions or selfish intentions, worst two characteristics of ever that will always cause harm to another human being. And those are the things that her books touch upon. She also has 2 poetry books as well. I think you guys should definitely check it out. Go to her website, Nicoline Evans. I'm going to put it somewhere around here, so just where my arms are swelling, you're gonna see some words. I'm probably gonna put it above me because I'm lazy in editing, and I'm also not a real editor, so like what you get here is really fancy for me. I definitely would recommend the book. I would definitely give it 4 out of 5 Cadmas, and it's only missing 1 Cadma because I want to know so much about Juniper, and I'm like super nosy because I'm like, girlfriend, we best friends, we BFFs, can we like you know, be pen pals? Yeah, I used to have a pen pal. That's how old I am. Man, I wonder how Tiffany's doing. You know, if you come across my videos and you're like, hey, that looks like that weird little chinky dark-skinned girl that I used to be pen pals with, and we met up in Connecticut one day, and you fell and split your leg almost open on the rocks because you were doing something that Arnaldo told you not to do, but you did it anyway just to be spiteful, and you remember me, yeah, leave a comment and be like, hey, it's me, pen pal. Put that in. That was a lot for like one small side story, right? But I hope you guys enjoyed this review. I do hope you're definitely going to check out the books. I find them very interesting. Nicoline has a very smooth way of writing where I know when I do these reviews, you're like, oh, you like everything. That's not true. You should probably see my review of Brightburn. But I do personally enjoy her books. And the things that are important to me when I'm reading my books are character development. I want to feel like I'm getting to know the character. I want to understand why they're making the choices that they're making, and are they relatable? Like, if I put myself in that character's shoes, or perhaps maybe I've been in that character's shoes, and I'm like, yeah, I reacted the same way. It's not just me. I found Juniper exceptionally relatable. She is an introvert. She is someone who's not heavily interested in relationships. She just wants to enjoy nature. She just wants to do her own thing without really being bothered or being forced into a conversation unless she feels like talking. Juniper is me. So I'm in love with this book. So I definitely would recommend this book just because of the relatability for me. But these aspects and all of the characters, they are in all the people that we know. They're there. So, and because of how she layers it, and then the connection you see and the struggle she has with Mother Nature, because although Mother Nature is chosen her as a champion, she's basically picking and choosing who gets to live or die. And that's a heavy thing to carry as a human, because you're like, I didn't really want that responsibility. I mean, and the last person who had that kind of responsibility kept writing people's names in a notebook, and we saw how that worked out. So I think for Juniper, it's a fabulous thing, and she's well written. She's a little sassy, but she's still developing and learning about herself, and we are learning about her at the same time alongside her her friends and family members. So I think the book is very well written. It's a lot of fun. I can actually see it being like a really cool, fun, like Netflix TV show. Like, I totally would tune in. But I'd of course be like reading it along the whole way, like, this better be exactly, and Roscoe better be exactly how I picture him, because we're in love. But yes, make sure you guys check out Nicoline Evans. Take a look. Let me grab the book. Make sure you get the book. I would advise you just to get both of them. Hall of Mosses, which is the one that I read, and I'm going to be ordering the Field of Ashes because I know there's Kindle. I know this. But there's just something about the smell and the holding and it's like nerd porn for me, and I need to hold a book. So I'm going to be getting the Field of Ashes, and I will be doing a follow-up in regards to that book. But I definitely think this adventure, it's not overdone. It's in a really fun way, and I'm really looking forward to what happens after Mother Nature kills us all off. You know, in the book. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and be sure to follow me. Look for me on everything. That's Cadma, literally, because I don't. On the editing, the name is on one of the sides. It's probably over here. So, if not, it's over here. So, name is Cadma. Look for me on everything. Whether it's Curly Cadma on Instagram, Cadma on Twitter. I'm actually even on Snapchat. Even though I do not use Snapchat, I use it for the filters, and then I download the photos, send it to my friends, and then I never post anything on the Snapchat. But the point is, I am there. And I am also, of course, on TikTok under Cadmania. I am at 52,000 followers, I believe, right about now. Yeah. Apparently people like when I'm being retarded, so. But yeah, make sure you guys check me out. Make sure you follow up to see the things that I'm doing. I do rants on TikTok, besides reenactments and following up behind the videos. I don't do any TikTok dances because I am just like not good at any of that. Like I try. I'm just, I don't know. I can do like kung fu katas and stuff like that, but like ask me to do like a dance from TikTok, I suddenly can't like do anything except like, but yeah, follow Nicoline Evans. Make sure you get this book. Just trying to be smooth, but make sure you get this book. Check out Field of Ashes as well. Check out her other books for your kids as well, and stay in tune and stay safe out there. Welcome to this quarantine review. Whoop, whoop. And no, it doesn't take a quarantine to happen this long for me to finally make a video.